Welcome to our live coverage of the return of Jean Le Cam into the famous Les Sables d'Olonne channel. On board Yes We Cam. Jean, of course, one of the most famous ocean racers in France. And this is very much a heroic welcome for Jean, taking 4th place in this Vendée Globe last night. In part thanks to the time recompense he received for saving Kevin Escoffier on that night back on the 30th of November. 16 hours and 15 minutes of time recompense that elevated him to 4th when he crossed the line, actually across in 8th last night. So we're watching Jean on Yes We Cam coming into the channel at speed. He's had a long night on board. Very wet, very windy night. The rain has eased around about 1 o'clock this morning, just in time for Jean. Completed his he did 5 Vendée Globes and finished 4 of them. Only that race in 2008, 2009 when he capsized at Cape Horn, 250 miles west of Cape Horn, and had to be rescued by Vincent Rieu. That was the only Vendée Globe he hasn't finished. So 4th place on this race. He was 2nd in the race in 2004, finishing behind Rieu. So he abandoned the retired from the 2008 race. Otherwise he's been 6th, 5th and 4th, which at the age of 61 you kind of think this will be his last Vendée Globe, and correspondingly then probably his last time coming into Les Sables d'Olonne. Certainly one of the outstanding heroes of this race. And in fact then finishing the first daggerboard boat. Hugely popular in France. Best known probably ocean racer of the moment. So local time it's 2:15 in the morning, and as you would expect, huge crowds out in the channel in Les Sables d'Olonne. Doesn't matter the time of day or time of night in this epicenter of the Vendée Globe. You would always expect a crowd for Jean Le Cam, come what may, and certainly this is one of the biggest moments of his career for sure. So his boat won the Vendée Globe in the hands of Michel Desjoyeux in that 08-09 race that he had to retire from. And Jean, of course, a very accomplished boat builder in his own right. I think one of the things that stands out for me about Le Cam on this race was the reminder from Damien Sagan saying that Jean is actually at his happiest when he's working on board his boat. And there we go. The warmest of welcomes from Les Sables d'Olonne for Jean Le Cam. So amazing to consider that there was a point at which there was concerns whether Jean would make it into this race. He did not have the funding, as indeed he didn't in the previous edition. But he always gets to the start line and tells a fantastic story of his race on generally limited funds. So the oldest skipper in this race at 61 years old. His statement last night after finishing, just saying that he's so pleased to have completed this race on an older boat at his age. And as much, he said, as a reminder that you don't need a big budget, and he hopes this will be a reminder that younger ocean racers can take on the Vendée Globe on a more modest budget. It's not just about having a modern foiling boat, and he's very, very firm on that one. So Jean did his first round the world race way back in 1982 with Eric Taberley on board Euromarche, the former Pen, or it was renamed Pen Duick 6, it was originally. And that was when he was doing his military service. So John had a fantastic race. He's always been in the top third of the fleet. He actually led in the early days of this race. Remember, he was only one of two skippers, along with Alex Thompson, to go through the Storm Theta, and that gave him a big gain, as it did indeed for Alex Thompson at that point. And Alex paying tribute to John at that point. On what in the early stages of what has proven to be a remarkable race. So enjoying the moment, coming in through the entrance into the Port Aluna Marina. We've said in the past, if you win without danger, you triumph without glory. I think he's warming to the moment. He said a couple of days he was really concerned about re-entering into this world, having been on the race for so long solo. And for sure he's one of the skippers in this race who enjoys the solitude, enjoys being at one with his boat. Just talking about the adventure, he enjoys the adventure. And certainly the strongest moments of this race was that rescue of Kevin Escoffier on the night of the 30th of November into the 1st of December. Escoffier in his life raft for 11 and a half hours. Sean saw him not long after arriving on the zone, but could not connect with him for long enough to pull him out of the life raft. And he spent the evening looking at the very, very methodical search pattern set up by the race direction here. And of course that ironic twist that this time it was Jean Le Cam looking for the PRB skipper, when back in December 2008 it was Le Cam who was trapped inside his VM Materio, and it was Vincent Rieu who rescued him. And then of course Rieu's rig was damaged in the rescue process. He came alongside to pull Sean off his boat. Sean had been trapped inside for 16 hours. His rigging touched the hull of VM Material, and the rig came down not long afterwards. And so Vincent Rieu had to retire from that Vendée Globe. And of course, when we talk about redress, then Rieu was redressed to third place in that race because of that. So certainly the biggest scenes we've seen for any finish in this Vendée Globe so far, as you'd expect for Jean Le Cam. So Jean crossed the equator on the way down, going south in this Vendée Globe in fourth place, sixth at Cape of Good Hope, sixth at the Cape of Cape Lewin, and seventh at Cape Horn. And he was always in the match. There's Vincent Rieu there, and Kevin Escoffier on board the PRB rib. So there you go. Big piece of Vendée Globe history. Vincent Rieu, who rescued Le Cam in December 2008, and when he was skipper of PRB, and the skipper of PRB this time, who was rescued, Kevin Escoffier, sharing the moment with Jean Le Cam as they come into the approaches to the marina here in Les Sables d'Olonne, Portelona Marina, where there will be a hero's welcome for Jean Le Cam. So Jean talking to Kevin Escoffier coming on board. Remember, they were on board Yes We Cam until Kevin was taken on board the French Navy ship Nivoise. So Jean's invited Kevin on board. And Anne Le Cam, Jean's wife, his biggest supporter. She's seen him through these 5 Vendée Globes and must have lived these terrible hours in 2008. 16 hours he was inside the boat. And certainly no stranger to adversity as Jean, but and Vincent Rieu there, and Bernard Stam's there as well. Bernard, who of course did the Barcelona World Race with them in 2014, winners of the Barcelona race on board Bernard's boat. His boat is obviously branded Yes We Cam as the boat race name, but it is called Hubert, named after Hubert Desjoyeux, who was the founder of the CDK yard where the boat was built. And they were Jean inextricably linked with the Desjoyeux family, grew up together in the Glenong Islands of Brittany. They're talking with Vincent Rioux, who of course won that 2004 race with Lecam second and Britain's Mike Golding third in that edition. So fantastic signs, fantastic pictures of the triumphant return of Jean Lecam, fourth place in this Vendée Globe after his time bonus of 16 hours 15 minutes, taking him into fourth place. Crossed the line in eighth last night. Has had to wait for the tide. This is the first tide that will allow him into the channel. Big hugs there for Lecam and Roland Jourdan there as well. Bilou, a big hug from Vincent Rioux. Rioux, who rescued him in 2008, and Bilou there, long time friend and rival. There you go, and reunited with Kevin Escoffier. Escoffier, who's said he certainly plans to be back on the next Vendée Globe. Discussions with his sponsors, PRB, the longest standing boat sponsors with a history in this race. They intend to be back with Escoffier, I believe, for the next race. So he will join us in a while in the race village. And of those of you who remember his previous entries into the race village, in the last two editions, I can promise you it will probably be spectacular. So Jean enjoying the moment, shall we say. He loves the party, does our Jean. And I can imagine this night will go on for quite a while. What a career Jean Le Cam has had in just about every configuration, every type of ocean racing and offshore monohulls and multi-hulls. 3 times winner of La Solitaire de Figaro, the offshore one design class in the French classic multi-stage race, which is considered to be the toughest offshore racing school in the world. So here he comes into the marina. He's absolutely loving these moments. Oblivious to the crowds, oblivious to the welcome. This is absolutely typical Jean Le Cam. Those of you who've seen him in action pre-start and post-finish. Here we go with Bernard Stamm. Incredible as he comes into the marina. So his 5th Vendée Globe, and you'd think for sure his last. You would imagine, but you never really know with this man. Maybe he's inspired a new generation of older skippers to take on the race in the future. Charlie Dallin's Apivia there. Arriving at the Ponton d'Honneur, where he left way back on November the 8th with the rest of the fleet. So the Ponton d'Honneur awaits Jean Le Cam on Yes We Can. Remember, those of you who are watching, Jean arrived for his start day on his own, came down to Pontoon on his own. He'd said his goodbyes to his friends and family. So Le Roi Jean, King Jean, as he's best known in France and indeed round the world now. His popularity has grown immeasurably over the course of this race, not least due to his Skype calls. He's been almost as well connected as Boris Herrmann over the course of this race, but and amazing to think that that was the realisation that Kevin Escoffier had been rescued, was when Race Direction were watching their screens and saw it a Skype connection all the time with Le Cam's boat, and suddenly they saw the two skippers appearing in the same screen on the Skype call, and that was their only realisation that Escoffier had been rescued. So his second to best result in this Vendée Globe. After that second place, he was second in 2004 behind Vincent Riou, just 7 hours behind. And here he is coming alongside the pontoon. Big moment for Jean as he steps off. Yes, we can. Certainly the bond between him and his boat is as strong as anyone in this race, for sure. The boat has looked after him, he's looked after the boat. He's had no major problems that we know of. Certainly he's had one challenge a day, as they say on the Vendée Globe, for sure. But he's dealt with them in his usual quiet fashion. Tells you little about his problems, and enjoying the hero's welcome, as indeed he should. Still got his personal locator beacon there on his wrist. Decided he's probably safe to take it off now. The rest of his shore team coming on board now. Or sorry, the so we remember that Jean and the Southern Oceans enjoyed the close contact racing with a number of different skippers at different times, but for sure with Boris Herrmann, raced alongside each other for a period. Damien Sagan, Benjamin Dutreux, and of course Benjamin Dutreux, who is next in as another skipper to have benefited from the experience of Jean over the years, as indeed has Damien Sagan prepared his boat in Jean's yard. So there you go, Yves Auvigny, the president of the region there with his back to us, passing over the champagne to Le Cam. Enjoying one of his favourite glasses of red wine. And we know for sure that he had a few bottles with him, did Jean. Not bad at all. So, just enjoying the moment before he steps off his boat. So John just talking with the VIPs on friends and family on the dock. Saying the race was hard, as indeed he said last night. Didn't expect to finish like this. He didn't expect to end up as the first daggerboard boat. He was really talking about a race with Benjamin Dutroux. In fact, he ended up only 10 hours away from winning this race after the time compensation. Saying that every day brings a different challenge on the Vendée Globe. He's talking about these just now. Of course, there'll be many more skippers out to welcome him, for sure. Boris Herman said yesterday he would not be too concerned to have Jean overtake him in the rankings. Not least in recognition of the rescue, but also because of such a superb course that he's completed. Always in the hunt ever since he went down the Atlantic, sailing very much his own course, never taking any risks. But you'll find he sailed the shortest distances on each stage for sure. It really is the signature of a Jean Le Cam race, and sometimes it's almost by intuition. In fact, he said last night that he just he pushed so hard over the last couple of days just to make the to try and make the tide, and for sure didn't expect to be so far up the leaderboard. So not a massive fan of modern technology is our Jean, where the clack 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 comes from. Exactly, just saying that one of these expressions that he's used over the course of the race, which basically says, let your actions speak louder than words, in essence. So you wonder what a Vendée Globe would be like without Jean Le Cam. Just talking about the life. On board, and I think the bond with his boat is something extraordinary. And how the problems keep coming during the race. You have to deal with them and get on with them. But it's a relentless pace, really, for him and for everyone else. But I think it's as much what sustains him through the race. The infernal pace and intensity. And amazing to think at 61, he has thrived on it. A certain story for sure. Toasting the crowd. Only a certain number of people, of course, are out on the pontoon in these times. But no mistaking the warmth of the welcome for Jean. Waiting there, Vincent Rieu and Kevin Escoffier. No rush to get off his boat, indeed. Norin finishes his glass of red wine. It's always that moment when you break the bond with the boat, and he's in no rush to do that, really. So a racing career spanning more than 40 years for sure. 7 times past Cape Horn. And again, you wonder whether he'll see Cape Horn again, but you just never know. First record for him was in 1982. After that Whitbread on board Euromarche, he set off with Jet Services 2 and broke the record for the Atlantic. Then twice world champion in Formula 40, 88 and 89. Won the Course de l'Europe avec Laurent Bourgnon in 1991. And really his honours go on and on from then. Interesting to note that on the same boat in the 2016-2017 race, his time was 80 days, 4 hours, 41 minutes and 54 seconds. And his time this time, 80 days, 13 hours, 44 minutes and 55 seconds. So really no surprise there, only 9 hours of difference between his 2016 race and his 2020 race. And in fact, if I recall, on the passage down across the equator, he passed within 5 minutes of the previous race in terms of the elapsed time to the equator. So pictures there with Kevin Escoffier and Vincent Rieu, 3 inextricably linked with the Vendée Globe rescues. Rieu rescuing Le Cam in 2008 and now Le Cam rescuing Kevin Escoffier on this edition 2021. So as I said, Jean's Delta is only 10 hours off winning this race, which is a remarkable consideration, given his age and the age of his boat, and I think also for sure a good sign for the Amoca class, and indeed for older sailors for the future. He really has been an inspiration to the older generation of sailors at all levels. It's not just about brute strength, it's about guile and cunning and experience, and most of all experience when you go ocean racing. And we reflected at the time when Le Cam rescued Escoffier that if there was two skippers to be in the best possible positions in that situation, it was Jean Le Cam and Escoffier. Escoffier, one of the toughest competitors. And he retained that positive mindset all the way through his 11.5 hours in his life raft. And he said he always knew that Jean would come for him at some point. So King Jean waiting to come off. Yes, we can. We'll have his press conference in a short period, which you'll have a full translation available to you to hear the words of Jean Le Cam, and for sure he's always informative. He always speaks what he considers to be his the truth. And we've had some great fun with him over the course of the of this race. Found the south tough this time, I'm sure. Particularly the Indian Ocean was very, very difficult for all the leading group. Crossed seas and periods with strong winds, and then the Pacific was hard for him as well. Saying at the time that the long surfing waves in of the past that he'd remembered were not there this time.